Hi, I'm Joseph Holmes, and this is Overthinking Films. Probably my all-time favorite filmmaker working today is Christopher Nolan. In a world where we seem to have to always choose between, brainless summer blockbusters and boring, depressing, inaccessible indie films, Christopher Nolan always makes stories that have something to say and pieces them with summer blockbuster story sensibilities. Being as I love Christopher Nolan so much, I have seen all of his films, except like the stuff he did as a student in college. And watching all of Christopher Nolan's films, I came across something really interesting. A really interesting, fascinating thread in all of his movies that deals with, the relationship between truth, lies, and happiness, and the, fate of humankind. That all, oddly enough, goes back to Nietzsche. But not all of it. He takes it a step further. Should be obvious, but in case it's not, all of the spoilers to follow for all of the Christopher Nolan films. In a Christopher Nolan universe, life sucks. The Christopher Nolan universe is Gotham City, where there's, crime and death and corruption rampant. Or it's the world of Interstellar, where the world is dying and is boring and ordinary. In Memento, Leonard Shelby's wife is dead. In Insomnia, Dormer is going to get fired from his job. In The Prestige, Robert Angier's wife is dead. In Inception, Cobb's wife is dead, and he's lost his kids. A lot of dead wives. Basically, the average life expectancy in Christopher Nolan universe for wives is very low. That's the kind of a universe that Nietzsche believed we live in. Nietzsche believed something that almost no other philosopher believed, and that is, knowing the truth will not make you happy. In The Use and Disadvantage of History for Life, Nietzsche wrote about the vigorous man and the sickly man. The vigorous man believes the life-enhancing noble lies, whereas the sickly man knows that they're lies, and so does not, and so therefore can't act in a way that makes his life better. Socrates was the guy who said, the unexamined life is not worth living. That if you know what's true, then you will be happiest. But Nietzsche didn't believe that. He believed that knowing the truth made you unhappy, because we as human beings need to believe that the universe is a place that's wondrous, that we are a part of a good story, that where love is real, and God is real, and heaven is real, and that we'll get to go to heaven. Life will turn out well if we are the good guys in this amazing adventure story that we're a part of.
You're living a dream, kid. A dead wife to pine for. A sense of purpose to your life. A romantic quest that you wouldn't end even if I wasn't in the picture.
Nietzsche said in order to be happy, we need to feel our life is like that. And yet, if you really know the truth about the world, that's not true. The world is a world that's boring without wonder, where there's corruption and evil, and then people aren't good, and then where an old universe is just going to die at some point, and that's going to be it. Like how Stephen Strange describes it in Doctor Strange.
We are made of matter and nothing more. You're just another tiny, momentary speck within an indifferent universe.
How Robert Angier describes the world in Prestige.
The audience knows the truth. The world is simple, miserable, solid all the way through.
Nietzsche, because of this, believed that the only answer to life, to make life worth living, was to create a lie. To create a noble lie about a noble life that we live, that makes the world better to live in and makes us better people. For him, it was creating the Übermensch, the Superman, the man who came from ordinary, sheep of humanity, but was able to rise up to shape the world as he wanted to, like Alexander the Great. He believed those were the great noble stories of the world, and that believing in that, like, even though those people like Alexander the Great wasn't as godlike as he appeared, us believing that there was somebody out there who could be like that makes our lives better and worth living. Now, existentialists also thought that life was basically meaningless, but they thought that you could still be happy while embracing the truth of that. like Albert Camus thought that you could be happy by, just laughing at the absurdity of life and accepting it. They didn't think they'd have to do it by embracing a lie, that you had to be happy by embracing a lie. Most people, however, embrace some kind of form of Nietzschean lie in order to make themselves happy, because most people can't be happy just feeling like life is meaningless and pointless. Ergo, the creator of Rick and Morty's discussion of the meaning of life.
Do I agree with Rick that nothing means anything? No, I do not, because the knowledge that nothing matters, while accurate, gets you nowhere. The planet is dying, the sun is exploding, the universe is cooling, nothing's gonna matter. The further back you pull, the more that truth will endure. But when you zoom in on Earth, when you zoom into a family, when you zoom into a human brain and a childhood and experience, you see all these things that matter. We have this fleeting chance to participate in an illusion called I love my girlfriend, I love my dog. How is that not better?
So just like Nietzsche, all of Christopher Nolan's stories show that the only way out of the horrible, sucky life we live in is through a lie. In Memento, Leonard Shelby's wife is dead, and the only way he can find meaning and purpose again in life is inventing a lie about what happened to her that creates a noble quest for him to find her killer.
Do I lie to myself to be happy? In your case, Teddy, yes, I will.
In Insomnia, the only way for Will Dormer to get out of his career being over is to invent a lie about what happened to his partner. In Prestige, the only way to make life worth living and meaningful is through magicianry, is through deception.
But if you could fool them, even for a second, then you could make them wonder. And then you got to see something very special. You really don't know. It was the look on their faces.
In Inception, the only way for Cobb to get back together with his kids is through the dream world that he's created. In Inception, the only way that Cooper can make his daughter, feel safe is by lying to her about where he's going. And the only way that Professor Brand is able to convince Cooper to go on a mission that's going to save the world is to lie to him about what he's doing up there. And of course, in Batman, the only way to save Gotham is for Bruce Wayne to create this myth about himself, to create the Batman persona and lie about his life and what he's doing, to become the Ubermensch and create a myth about himself the way that Nietzsche envisioned. And of course, when the Joker is going to destroy the soul of Gotham, what does Batman do? The only way to save Gotham is to lie and give them a hero like Harvey Dent to believe in, even though he wasn't as great as he was, to create a lie about him so they have a myth that they can believe in that will drag them out of the horrible pit that they're in. That is the only way out in a Christopher Nolan film, the only way to make anything better. And that is exactly what Nietzsche believed. The only way to save us and to make life worth living is to create a noble lie. Where Christopher Nolan deviates from Nietzsche is really interesting, because while Nietzsche was totally cool with the whole let's create a big lie thing, Christopher Nolan is worried about it. He shows in all of his films that even though a lie is the only way to get us out of the horrible place our life is in, it's also really horrible itself. In Memento, Leonard Shelby's lie he creates for himself causes him to hurt lots of other people. In Insomnia, the lie that Will Dormer creates causes him to, enable a serial killer. In Prestige, the deceptions, the magic become something that, harms you and harms others. In Inception, the dream world almost ends up consuming everyone. In Interstellar, they're very clear that what was done was very wrong. The lie that Cooper tells his daughter gives her so many issues that she wouldn't have had to work through if her father had just told her what was going on. The lie that Professor Brand tells is considered by everyone to be a horrible, horrible thing, even his defenders. However, it's in Batman that you get to see what's wrong with the lie most clearly. Yes, Batman did save everyone by becoming Batman. He did bring Gotham out from the ashes, but he also made the way for the Joker to come about. As Commissioner Gordon points out, him becoming Batman created room for the Joker to happen. And then so from there, the Joker makes things worse than the mob ever did for Gotham. And so then Batman has to, in order to stop that, create another, even bigger lie about Harvey Dent. But that lie makes it possible for Bane to be able to make things even worse for Gotham than it ever was before Batman even started. And the only way out of that for Batman is for him to fake his own death, which is another lie, and then get someone else, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, to perpetuate that lie. So what you have in Christopher Nolan's universe is a very, very pessimistic take on life, whether human beings can get out of the horrible state of the world they live in. And up until about a couple movies ago, I would say yes, Christopher Nolan's universe is a cycle of never-ending lies and destruction. But then there's Interstellar. Interstellar is the first movie that Christopher Nolan makes that questions the premise of his own argument. In Cooper's debate with Brand about love, you get to see the worldview that Nietzsche had, that life is boring and ordinary and that love isn't real, and that the transcendence, the wonder of the world we have isn't real, is challenged.
Love isn't something we invented. It's observable, powerful. It has to mean something.
Love has meaning, yes. Social utility, social bonding, child rearing.
We love people who have died. Where's the social utility in that?
None.
Cooper says that love simply is a biological thing, a biological lie that exists to perpetuate the species. Brand says maybe it's not. Maybe love really is something real in the universe that you can grapple with, that you can experience, and that has real power in the world. It's real. Love is real. And the only way, in the end of Interstellar, that the world actually gets saved is by believing that is true, that love is real. And not just by believing it, but the fact that it is true. The fact that love is real and is a force that we can be a part of in this world. That is the way that humanity gets saved. The people who believe that, that's a lie, that there's nothing true that we can reach out and grab it, or that can grab us and save us. The people who don't believe that, they are the monsters, and the heroes are the ones who figure out that it is possible. That is the hope of mankind. That is a huge shift in the Christopher Nolan film. And in case you're thinking that maybe this was, just part of the script that Jonathan Nolan gave Christopher Nolan, and he was just going off the script, originally the story had a sad ending where, Cooper dies in a black hole. This was this thing where Cooper, finds the power of love that exists in the universe to save mankind, was the thing that Christopher Nolan put into the movie. What's more, Christopher Nolan chose for his next film, Dunkirk, a story about World War II, which is one of the few places that we all kind of agree was a time when, yes, the universe did have a point. There really was. We really were part of a story that was good and evil, and we would get to could choose to be on the good side and participate in that struggle, and heroes could be noble, and you could be a part of a noble story. Nietzsche said did not exist. So it seems now in Christopher Nolan's films, he's coming to a place where he says maybe the premise of his own argument and internal struggle was wrong. Maybe there really is hope for mankind because Nietzsche was wrong, because the world really is the kind of a place that Nietzsche thought it wasn't, that if you find the truth of the world, it will make you happy because we do live in a good story. Whew. Wow. Yes, I have been a Christopher Nolan fan for a long time. But with this development in his thought and the way that his movies are, I might become a bigger fan of his movies still. And I can't wait to see where he goes next and what answers he comes up with about the way this universe that really does have wonder that he's discovering, what he decides that wonder is and what it looks like going forward if this trend with his movie continues. And I can tell I will be overthinking about it as it happens. But whatever it is, it's going to be a story worth being a part of. Hey, thanks for watching. Treebeard says that if you like this video, you should subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way, you can know when the new videos are coming out when they're coming out. Also, go to my Patreon page in order to support me making more videos just like this. I'm not putting words in your mouth. You literally said that just before we went on air. I know you can speak for yourself, but they can't understand you. I think that our audience for tree people is fairly low. Because they're trees!